Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
On the evening of January 30th, 1948, an old man walked to his prayer meeting in New Delhi. His name was Mohandas Gandhi. He was 78 years old and wore simple white clothes. Many people were waiting for him. As he walked, a man came out of the crowd. The man bowed. Then he took out a gun and shot Gandhi 3 times. Gandhi fell to the ground. His last words were believed to be "Hey Ram," which means "Oh God." It was a very sad end. The man who taught peace to the world died from violence. The man who wanted Hindus and Muslims to live together was killed by a Hindu man who did not agree with him. After his death, the story of Gandhi started to change. People began to see him as a perfect person, like a saint. They called him the Mahatma, which means great soul. This idea of a perfect Gandhi is a famous story. But the real man was much more complex. He was not a simple saint. The real Gandhi was a human. He was smart and did great things, but he also had problems and made mistakes. Understanding the real man is more useful than believing in a myth. His life was a long experiment to find truth. This story asks some difficult questions about him. For example, people know Gandhi as a great leader for peace. But was he always a peaceful man in his own family? He fought for the rights of Indian people. But what did he think about Black Africans when he was a young man? He helped free a country. But did his decisions also help cause terrible violence when India was divided? These questions are important. Gandhi himself always wanted to find the truth. He said, "My life is my message." To understand his message, we must look at the whole story of his life. The real story, with all its problems and successes, is more interesting than the simple story of a saint. 2. A normal boy. Nothing in Mohandas Gandhi's early life suggested he would become a great leader. He was born on October 2, 1869, in Porbandar, a town by the sea. His father, Karan Chand, worked as a local administrator. His family belonged to the Banya caste, a respectable group of merchants, but they were not famous or powerful. As a boy, Gandhi was just an ordinary student. He later wrote that he was mediocre in his classes. He was also painfully shy and did not have any special ambitions for his future. He was a normal boy in a normal family. The strongest influence on young Gandhi was his mother, Putlibai. She was a deeply religious woman and took her Hindu faith very seriously. She had many strong beliefs and followed difficult religious practices. For example, she often fasted for days, eating no food as a part of her worship. She would not eat a meal without praying first. Gandhi watched his mother's intense spiritual life, and it left a big impression on him. He later wrote that his clearest memory of his mother was her saintliness and devotion. When Gandhi was only 13 years old, his life changed forever. His family arranged a marriage for him with Kasturbai Makhanji, a girl who was also 13. This was a common tradition, but Gandhi later looked back on it as a sad event. He felt the adults in his family cared more about saving money than about the children's well-being. The first years of their marriage were very difficult and full of conflict. Gandhi decided he had the right to control his young wife completely. He became a jealous and possessive husband. He wanted to restrict all of Kasturbai's movements and tell her where she could and could not go. But Kasturbai had a strong spirit and a lot of common sense. She refused to be controlled. This led to many bitter quarrels between them. Sometimes they did not speak to each other for long periods. Later in his life, Gandhi wrote about this with amazing honesty. He knew that his actions were wrong and that he had tried to make his wife a prisoner because of his own jealousy. 3. A new country. When Gandhi was 18 years old, he made a big decision. He decided to leave India and go to London to study law. This was a difficult choice. Many people in his community were against it. They believed that crossing the ocean was bad for a Hindu. Before he left, Gandhi made a special promise to his mother. He promised he would not eat meat, drink alcohol, or be with women in London. In England, Gandhi felt very shy and alone. He tried hard to become a perfect English gentleman. He bought expensive new clothes and a hat. He took lessons to learn dancing, French, and how to play the violin. But these things did not make him feel like an Englishman. The expensive clothes and lessons cost too much money, and he was not very good at them. He soon realized that he could not change who he was. He stopped trying to be an English gentleman and started to focus on his promise to his mother. He found a restaurant for vegetarians and joined a vegetarian group. For Gandhi, not eating meat was more than a promise. It became an important moral idea. He started to write articles and give speeches about why vegetarianism was good. This was the first time he learned to speak in public and share his beliefs. After 3 years, Gandhi finished his studies and became a lawyer. He returned to India, but he was not successful. He was too nervous to speak in court. In 1893, he got an offer for a job. An Indian company needed a lawyer for 1 year in South Africa. Gandhi accepted the job and sailed to the new country. In South Africa, an event changed his life forever. He was on a train to a city called Pretoria. He had a first-class ticket. During the journey, a white man came into the compartment. The man was angry to see an Indian in first class. A railway official told Gandhi to move to a third-class car. Gandhi refused and showed his ticket, but they did not listen. A police officer forced him off the train. He spent the cold night in the dark station room waiting room. That night, he made a decision. He decided he must fight against this unfair discrimination. His life had a new purpose. 4. A new idea. In South Africa, Gandhi saw that the laws were not fair for Indians. He wanted to fight this discrimination, but he needed a new way to do it. He did not want to use violence. So he started to develop a new idea. He called it satyagraha. This word means truth force. Satyagraha was a new kind of protest. It was about fighting for the truth without hurting anyone. The plan was to break unfair laws openly. People who followed satyagraha had to be ready to go to jail or get hurt, but they must never fight back. Gandhi believed this was a powerful way to show that the laws were wrong. It was a way to change the hearts of the people in power. The first big test for satyagraha came in 1906. The government made a new law. All Indians had to carry special identity cards. Gandhi called this the Black Act. He organized big meetings. He told Indians not to follow this new law. Many people, including Gandhi, were sent to jail. They did not fight the police. They went to jail peacefully. This was satyagraha. It is also important to know that Gandhi was not a perfect man. At this time, his ideas about race were wrong. He believed that Indians were better than Black Africans. He protested when Indians were treated like Black Africans. He thought Indians should have more rights because they were from a civilized country. These were racist ideas. It is an uncomfortable part of his story, but it is true. His thinking changed over many years. After a long struggle in South Africa, satyagraha worked. The government finally agreed to change some of the unfair laws. The special tax on Indians was stopped. Indian marriages were accepted as legal. Gandhi showed that nonviolent protest could be successful. He now had a powerful idea and a method. He was ready to take this idea back to India. 5. Back to India. Gandhi returned to India in 1915. He was 45 years old. He was not the same shy man who left India many years before. Now he was a respected leader because of his work in South Africa. A wise Indian leader told him, "Spend 1 year traveling. Do not speak about politics. Just listen and learn." Gandhi followed this advice. He traveled all over the country on a train. He wanted to understand the real problems of the Indian people before he started to lead them. His first big actions in India were to help poor farmers. In a region called Champaran, British landowners forced farmers to grow indigo, a plant used for blue color. The farmers got very little money and became very poor. Gandhi went there. He carefully studied the problem and organized the farmers in a peaceful protest. He did something similar in Kedah, where farmers could not pay high taxes after their crops failed. Gandhi showed them how to protest without violence. He won both of these fights. These early successes made him famous across India and showed that his ideas could work. Gandhi's most famous protest was the Salt March in 1930. The British government had a law that said only they could make and sell salt. They also put a tax on it. Every person in India needed salt, so this law hurt the poorest people most. Gandhi decided to protest this unfair law. He started a long walk of 240 miles to the sea. He began with 78 followers, but thousands of people joined him on the way. When he reached the beach, he bent down and picked up a handful of salt. This was a simple but powerful act of breaking the law. It inspired millions of Indians to make their own salt. The protest was peaceful, but it was a huge challenge to British rule. Gandhi also introduced another powerful symbol for independence, the spinning wheel. At the time, Britain sold a lot of expensive factory-made cloth to India. This destroyed India's traditional jobs. Gandhi asked every Indian to spend time each day spinning their own thread and weaving their own cloth, called khadi. This was not just about making clothes. It was a way for Indians to get economic independence from Britain. The spinning wheel became a symbol of self-reliance and resistance. It showed that all Indians, even the poorest, could participate in the fight for freedom. 6. A hard fight. When Gandhi was a leader in India, he changed the Indian National Congress. Before Gandhi, it was a small group for rich and educated men. Gandhi wanted everyone to join. He invited poor farmers, workers, and people from all over the country. The Congress became a huge movement with millions of people. It was now strong enough to fight for India's freedom. Gandhi led two very big protests. The first was the non-cooperation movement in the 1920s. Millions of Indians stopped working with the British government. Students left British schools and lawyers left British courts. People stopped buying things from Britain. It showed the British that Indians could stand together. Years later, during the Second World War, Gandhi started the Quit India movement. The message was simple: the British must leave India immediately. The government put Gandhi and other leaders in prison, but the people continued to protest across the country. Gandhi also worked on a difficult problem inside India called the caste system. This system divided Hindu society into different groups. The lowest group was called the untouchables. People treated them very badly and said they were unclean. Gandhi thought this was a great sin. He called them Harijans, which means children of God, and he wanted them to be treated with respect. But Gandhi's ideas about caste were not simple. He did not want to end the whole system, only change it. This led to a major disagreement with another important leader, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar was born into an untouchable family. He believed the only way to help his people was to end the caste system completely. He wanted separate political rights for untouchables so they could have their own leaders and power. Gandhi did not agree. He was afraid this would divide Hindu society forever. He started a fast to protest Dr. Ambedkar's plan. It was a hard fight between two important men who wanted to help the same people but had very different ideas. 7. Big problems. Gandhi was a great leader, but his life also had big problems and failures. Some of his ideas and actions were very difficult for people to understand. These things show that he was a complex man, not a perfect saint. One of the most unusual parts of his life was his experiments with celibacy. Celibacy means living without any sexual relationship. After his wife, Kasturbai, died, Gandhi wanted to test his self-control. He asked young women, including his own grandniece, to sleep in the same bed with him. He was old and the women were young. He said this was a spiritual test to see if he could be completely free from sexual thoughts. For him, it was about purity. However, many of his friends and followers were shocked. They thought it was wrong. Today, people still talk about these experiments. They question if it was right for a powerful man to do this with young women who trusted him. Gandhi's biggest political failure was the partition of India. For many years, he worked for an independent India where Hindus and Muslims could live together in peace. This was his dream. But he could not make it happen. The leader of the Muslim League, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, wanted a separate country for Muslims. He was afraid that Muslims would not be safe or treated fairly in a country with a Hindu majority. In 1947, when India became independent from Britain, it was divided into two countries, India and Pakistan. Gandhi was against this. He felt it was a terrible mistake. The partition led to horrible violence. Millions of people had to move. Hindus and Sikhs in Pakistan moved to India, and Muslims in India moved to Pakistan. Fights broke out, and hundreds of thousands of people were killed. This violence made Gandhi deeply sad. He saw it as his own failure. He refused to celebrate India's Independence Day. Instead, he fasted and prayed for peace between Hindus and Muslims. 8. The End of a Life. On January 30th, 1948, Gandhi was in New Delhi. He was 78 years old and walked slowly, leaning on two young women. He was going to his evening prayer meeting, where hundreds of people waited. As he walked to the prayer area, a man named Natharam Godse pushed through the crowd. Godse was a Hindu nationalist. He believed Gandhi betrayed Hindus because he was too friendly to Muslims. Godse bowed to Gandhi and then shot him 3 times with a pistol. Gandhi fell down. His last words were, "Hey Ram," which means, "Oh God." The world's greatest teacher of nonviolence was killed by an act of violence. Gandhi's death was sad news everywhere, but his ideas did not die. His method of nonviolent protest, called satyagraha, inspired many leaders around the globe. One of the most famous was Martin Luther King Jr. in the United States. King studied Gandhi's methods carefully. He used them in the fight for civil rights for Black Americans. King believed, like Gandhi, that peaceful protest was a powerful weapon. He organized peaceful marches and boycotts to demand equal rights. Gandhi's ideas gave people in many countries a new way to fight for freedom and justice without using violence. In India today, Gandhi's legacy is complicated. The country did not follow all of his plans. India built a strong army and embraced modern industry. Gandhi wanted a simpler country with small, self-sufficient villages. Also, the ideas of Hindu nationalism, the reason for his murder, are stronger in modern India. This is very different from Gandhi's dream of a nation where Hindus, Muslims, and people of all religions could live together in peace. He was not a perfect saint. He was a complex man with flaws, and he made mistakes. But his real value is that he was a committed human. He spent his entire life in an experiment for truth, and he changed the world. He showed that one person, even an imperfect one, can make a very big difference. What do you think is Gandhi's most important lesson for us today?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.